Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well, as well as teach well. And also peace and salutations to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. And the title of this video is going to be China selling U.S. Treasury bonds in favor of gold. Okay, and that's based off of an article that I saw on naturalnews.com. All right, as you can see here on the screen, this is from naturalnews.com. It says dollar demise, China selling U.S. Treasury bonds in record numbers in favor of gold and other commodities. Okay, basically over there in China, all right, they're selling U.S. Treasury bonds, okay, to basically invest in gold and silver and other, precious commodities, okay, valuable commodities, all right, which is all, further leading to the demise of the so-called U.S. dollar, which real quick, what does the word demise mean? Okay, demise. This is from Oxford Dictionary of English. It says a person's death. It says conveyance or transfer of property or a title by will or lease. Okay, but nonetheless, as you can see, the first definition, a person's death. All right, so by China doing this, okay, selling U.S. Treasury bonds is all leading to, further leading to the death of the dollar, the so-called U.S. dollar. All right, by China dropping U.S. Treasury bonds and investing in gold and silver and other commodities, which is true riches according to the Bible. Okay, true riches according to the Bible is not paper money. Okay, it's gold, silver, land, cattle, having servants and subjects, all right, things of the earth. That's the true riches, all right. And so as this article goes into, it says China sold a record number of U.S. Treasury bonds in the first quarter of this year, 2024. Marking a significant shift away from dollar assets in favor of other commodities. All right, I'm gonna look up a couple of terms. First, let's look up this word commodities. Okay, commodity. This is from Oxford Dictionary of English. It says a raw material or a primary agricultural product that can be bought and sold, such as copper or coffee. Okay, raw materials or agricultural products such as copper or coffee, things of the earth. And gold and silver comes from the earth. All right. And so basically China is doing away from the dollar and investing in natural things of the earth, such as gold and silver. All right. And then let's look up Slovakia. Go back. Oh, man. Hold up. All right. So now let's look up a treasury bond. What is a treasury bond? Look it up right here. All right, this is the term treasury bond from bankrate.com. It says treasury bonds, often referred to as T-bonds, are long-term loans made to the U.S. government. When you buy a treasury bond, you're essentially lending money to the federal government. In return, the government agrees to pay you a fixed rate of interest every 6 months for the life of the bond. Okay, so it basically puts you, you know, when you, Salakia. All right, let's read that again one more time. Salakia. It says, treasury bonds, often referred to as T-bonds, are long-term loans made to the U.S. government. Okay, long-term loans made to the U.S. government. When you buy a treasury bond, you're essentially lending money to the federal government. In return, the government agrees to pay you a fixed rate of interest every 6 months for the life of the bond. Yeah, so basically, by China buying up U.S. Treasury bonds over the years, over the decades and whatnot, is basically China lending money to the United States. Okay, lending money to the United States in return of the United States basically paying a fixed rate to China, to basically pay off the money that China has loaned to them, basically putting the U.S. in debt to China, basically. All right, so that's what a treasury bond goes into. Okay, so when we go back and read that again, it says China sold a record number of U.S. Treasury bonds in the first quarter of this year, 2024, marking a significant shift away from dollar assets in favor of other commodities. Yeah, and basically, why is China selling off all these U.S. Treasury bonds? Because they know that the United States, all right, is in heavy debt to China, and that ultimately the United States is not going to pay off all of its debts to China. All right, because hey, basically America, Babylon the Great, this country is going down. All right, especially economically. All right, this country is in trillions of dollars of debt. Okay, trillions and billions of dollars of debt, and the U.S. is not going to pay none of that stuff back. All right, and ultimately it's all done by design anyway, by the elites. Okay, to justify bringing America down. Okay, to basically reset everything, reset the economy, and make the money system digital. All right, but as we're reading right here in this article, all right, China is selling off millions of dollars of worth of U.S. Treasury bonds, okay, to invest in gold and silver and other commodities, and it's all leading to the demise of the dollar, the death of the dollar. All right, so it goes on to say, Beijing divested a total of $53.3 billion in treasuries and agency bonds during the first 3 months of the year, while simultaneously increasing its purchases of gold and other commodities. Okay, it says analysis suggests this reduction in foreign exchange reserves is part of China's broader strategy to diversify its holdings from being dominated by U.S. dollar denominated assets amid rising geopolitical tensions with the United States. Yeah, because all this tension between the U.S. and China, especially over Taiwan, all right, is just further encouraging China to sell off all these treasury bonds and basically dump the dollar. Okay, dump the dollar. All right, and real quick, let's get some precepts. All right, ultimately, because all of this is being done to further bring down the U.S. economy. All right, and ultimately justify the elites resetting the U.S. economy and making the money system all digital. Okay, digital currency, CBDCs. All right, where all of your your purchases and your transactions can be traced via a digital system and AI and all these things. And it's ultimately all going to be fulfilled in what? The Charagma, the Revelation 13 and 16. Okay, now this is Obadiah 1 and 7. It says, Okay, because we know Obadiah, the book of Obadiah, all right, is a book dedicated to the condemnation of the biblical nation of Esau, Edom, the Edomites. All right, and when you understand prophecy, the Edomites, the biblical Edomites, Esau, Edom, is who rules America, which is America in prophecy is known as Babylon the Great. Okay, the last kingdom, the final kingdom to rule over the earth before the second coming of the Messiah. All right, Babylon the Great, the United States of America, will be ran by the biblical Edomites, which is the so-called white man. All right. So in Obadiah 1 and verse 7, it says, "All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him." All right, let's read that in the NLT. All your allies will turn against you. Okay, now China has never been an ally to the United States. Okay, as far as military wise, but over the years and over the decades and whatnot, the U.S. and China have made particular deals and economic deals and whatnot over the years. Okay, making them partners in the sense of economics, right? But as it said, Obadiah 1 and 7 in the NLT, all your allies will turn against you. And that's what China is doing against the United States, turning away against the US dollar. Okay, demising the dollar by doing what? Okay, selling off, $53 billion worth of treasury bonds. Okay, and it says they will help to chase you out of your land. Okay, and how is China going to, chase America out, out of his land? All right, they're going to do it by way of thermonuclear destruction ultimately. Okay, shooting off nuclear missiles in World War III. Okay, because that's what this all is going to lead to. When you look at the track record of the United States over the past 50 or so years, anytime you've had a country that basically dumped the U.S. dollar or stopped dealing with the U.S. dollar, then what happens? Okay, the U.S. ultimately makes something happen to justify going to war with that country. They did it with Iraq, in Afghanistan. Okay, and through China basically making moves to dump the dollar. Okay, very soon is going to lead to the U.S. going to war with China. All right. So it says again, Obadiah 1 and 7, all your allies will turn against you. They will help to chase you from your land. They will promise you peace while plotting to deceive and destroy you. Yeah, and China is going to be one of the major players to help destroy America, Babylon the Great. They're already helping to destroy it economically by dumping the dollar. And then ultimately they're going to help to destroy this place physically by way of nuclear weapons, nuclear missiles. And it says, your trusted friends will set traps for you and you won't even know about it. All right. And dumping all these treasury bonds is a trap and a snare against America, Babylon the Great. Here it is. While this country is so busy fighting for, alphabets and pedals to have rights, okay, and sending all kind of money to Ukraine and Israel, and helping those small hats fight, the little skirmishes that they're fighting in, okay. While this country, America, is so busy fighting for women to have the right to, delete their children. Meanwhile, look at what countries like China, okay, and Russia and so on and so forth are doing against this place. Forming up, these particular allegiances, economic allegiances. All right, dumping a dollar, investing in gold and silver, and other commodities. All right, and laying a snare for this place, and this place isn't even aware of these things. All right, because the people are too distracted with all this folly and games and bread and circus and all this BS. Okay, the average person here in America, the way that they're moving and the way that they're living their lives, you would think that this country is going to stay in power for the next 50 or so years. People are just going to and fro, just eating and drinking, going on vacation, going on dates, all right, eating at their favorite restaurants and whatnot. Okay, just living their lives as if all the little comforts and luxuries, uh, uh soon aren't getting ready to be taken away from them, especially when his dollar collapses. All right, but that just goes to show you how ultimately Yahweh Shemal Shah has his place in the snare. All right, and the Lord is using the different nations, okay, to put America in a snare, in a trap. All right, now let's get Habakkuk. Let's get Habakkuk chapter 2, and let's start at verse 4. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up, it is not upright in him." All right, and who is that? Who is this talking about? Esau, Edom. Okay, Esau's soul is lifted up in him. Okay, meaning what? He's haughty, he's proud, he's arrogant. All right, but his overall spirit is not upright. Okay, and why is that? Because he's the wicked. He's the man of sin. His whole entire purpose on the earth, talking about Esau, Edom, right? His whole entire purpose on the earth here in these latter days, from the time of the Renaissance during the 1400s up until now, will be to do what? The bidding of Satan, the working of Satan, as it goes into in 2 Thessalonians 2. Okay, with all power, signs, miracles, lying wonders, okay, pseudo science, pseudo money, such as the US dollar, paper money, all right, pseudo technology, okay. All these things have lifted up Esau's soul in these latter days, all right, but is ultimately not upright. Okay, it's all wicked, it's all demonic, it's left hand, is evil, it's satanic. Okay, and it says, "But the just shall live by his faith." Yeah, because when Esau goes to establish his NWO system, we that's up the hopeful elect, right, the just, right, we know and understand that there's going to come a point where we're going to have to detach from this system. As Esau is getting closer and closer to go with this NWO system. All right, and when we detach, that's when we're going to have to fully lean on Yahweh Shemal Shai for provision and guidance and protection to endure to the end. You see? So it says, verse 5, Habakkuk 2 and 5, "Yea, also because he transgresseth by wine," talking about Esau pushing forth his left hand philosophies and left hand doctrines and propaganda. Okay, the wine of Babylon. All right, it says he is a proud man. Okay, he's grown proud and haughty and lifted up because of his wine. All right, his false philosophies, doctrines, and pseudoscience. Right, it says, "Neither keepeth at home." All right, always invading different countries. Okay, taking down their governments and implementing puppets to replace their governments, to do his bidding. All right, to do things within his interests, so that he can control the resources of those particular lands and control the peoples. Right, it says, "Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell." Hell going into what? Destruction. Okay, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied. Yeah, Esau, Edom. All right, when he goes throughout the earth, all he pushes forth is things that ultimately lead to death. Okay, things that lead to confusion. All right, disarray, destruction within the family structure. Okay, destruction within the roles of men and women and children. All right, destruction of lands, deforestation. Okay, oil spills. All right, the diseases, plagues. All right, Everywhere this man goes on the planet Earth, he brings forth nothing but death, grape robbery, murder, confusion, pseudoscience, all right, all these things. And he cannot be satisfied. Here it is, this man is in his blessing. He has the fatness of the earth via the sword, okay, something that no nation has done up to this point throughout all of history, but he's still not satisfied, okay. You know, this man won't stop and won't be satisfied until ultimately he has everybody's soul and everybody's mind on one universal digital grid, okay, via a charagma, which is is going to go into that. It says it cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. Yeah, so Habakkuk, the prophet Habakkuk, he basically saw Esau setting up his NWO system, okay, where he's going to gather all nations and heap all people unto himself via what? A digital grid, a digital system, all right, ran and controlled by AI, all right, where he wants to stick a charagma inside of people to be able to control people and basically own people, all right, own their thoughts, own their ability to buy and sell and have access to resources and whatnot, okay, in which the beloved Apostle John goes into detail in all these things in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, okay, the charagma. And then it says, verse Habakkuk 2 and 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him? All right, all these what? All these other nations, all right, such as China, for example, right? Says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. Yeah, and that's all Esau Edom, especially through America, has done, over the past couple hundred years. Just going around the world, grape robbing and murdering, okay, stealing resources, stealing lands, taking control over lands that don't belong to them, all right, increasing in things that don't belong to this place, you see. And so here in these outer days, basically these heathen nations, these other nations would take up a parable against Esau Edom and America Babylon the Great, and a taunting proverb, basically mocking this place and ultimately cursing this place out, you see. So it says again, Habakkuk 2 and 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? How long, O Lord? Right? Says, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And, as the apostles and various, elder brothers and brothers in general, GMS, always bring out whenever the scripture is read, okay, that thick clay, as we always bring out, the thick clay, Strong's H5671, Ibat Yat, and it says, weight of pledges, heavy debts, okay, heavy debts, all right. So that thick clay goes into debts, heavy debts, and that's exactly what Esau Edom, especially here in America, Babylon the Great, is under right now, okay, in regards to the the economy. All right, the U.S. government is in trillions of dollars of debt, okay, which a large portion of that debt is owed to China. The U.S. Receiving loans from China, all right, over the past few decades, okay, but pretty much China is at the point to where it's fed up with all this debt that the U.S. owes. And so now it's basically selling off billions of dollars worth of treasury bonds because they know that the United States is not going to pay off all that debt, okay, all that heavy clay, thick clay, Salaki, as it says. Habakkuk 2 and 6 in the NLT, it says, but soon their captives will taunt them, they will mock them, saying, what sorrow awaits you thieves? Now you will get what you deserve. You've become rich by extortion, but how much longer can this go on? Yeah, and that's one of the main ways that America has gotten rich over the past, uh, few decades or so, through extortion. Which extortion? Let's look it up. For edification's sake. Okay, extortion. Let's see. We can. Yep. Okay, this is extortion from Oxford Dictionary of English. It says the practice of obtaining something, especially money, through force or threats. All right, and in the case of the United States, you know, it wasn't just obtaining money, but ultimately obtaining lands and resources. Okay, oil, things like that, all through what? Through force and threats. Basically the U.S. would seek to control the resources of a particular nation, particular country, right? And if that country refuses to bow to America and accept their dollar, then basically the U.S. would create some type of false, Salaki, let me be careful with that term, some type of attack, right? An FF, right? To justify invading that country and basically doing their will. Okay, assassinating their presidents or prime ministers. Okay, overthrowing their governments. Forming particular coups and whatnot. All right, and replacing their governments or their leaders with puppet governments or puppet leaders that do the interests and the bidding of the United States. All to do what? To control that land's resources and and commodities and whatnot. Control their oil, control their natural resources, control their people. Okay, all those things. So America has gotten rich over the years through extortion. All right, but here in Habakkuk 2:6, in these latter days, these nations are cursing out America. All right, due to all this injuries and unjust gains and riches gotten by deceit. And it says, but how much longer can this go on? And the answer is not much longer, because the Lord is getting ready to put it into America's wickedness, along with the rest of Esau's wickedness as a whole throughout the earth. Okay, the wickedness of this beast system, America, NATO, and the EU. All right, and ultimately the Lord is getting ready to put a wickedness to all the wickedness of these heathen nations. Okay, whether it be Esau, Ishmael, China, which is Moab, Ammon, which is so-called Japanese, the Hamites, Elam, the East Indians, all right, so on and so forth, because it's getting ready to send his begotten son back to be the next ruler over the earth, okay, with the tabernacle of David, the 144,000, ruling directly under Yahushua, subduing the nations all over again, as it was in the days of old, okay. Let's get Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah chapter 51 verse 44. It says, and I will punish Baal in Babylon. Okay, Baal is Baal. Okay, Baal, which is the chief deity worshipped in ancient Babylon. And Baal, which is basically Satan, is alive and well here in this modern day Babylon, which is Babylon the Great, America. Okay, because the whole entire vibration of America is off of the vibration of Satan. Okay, which means adversary. Okay, adversary or opposition against Yahweh Bashim El Shai. Okay, it says again, Jeremiah 51 and 44, and I will punish Baal or Baal in Babylon, and I will bring forth out of his mouth that which he hath swallowed up. And what is it that America, Babylon the Great, has swallowed up? All of its riches, all of these imports that this country is used to receiving, which Revelation the 18th chapter goes into that. Okay, the frankincense, the cinnamon, the myrrh, scarlet, and all these different things that America has swallowed up. Okay, and become abundant in. Well, guess what? The Lord said He's going to bring forth all these things out of the mouth of this place. Basically, meaning what? He's going to, cut off all the imports and all the resources in this place. All right, empty this place out. And it says, and the nations shall not flow together any more unto him. Okay, meaning what? That you see the nations that have dealt with the so-called U.S. dollar for all these years. Okay, they're no longer gonna flow to this place and accept the dollar no more. And that's why you see countries such as Russia and China, for example, teaming up together to form what's known as the BRICS nations. Okay, BRICS, BRICS nations. Okay, which stands for what? Brazil, Russia, India, okay, China, and South Africa, the BRICS nations, in which there's also many other nations that are looking to join the BRICS as well. Okay, Saudi Arabia is one of them. Iran is another one. All right, in which Saudi Arabia and Iran, those are two very oil-rich countries. Okay, oil-rich countries that the U.S. has made particular deals and ties with over the years. But now, those particular countries, especially Saudi Arabia, right? They're getting ready to basically cut America off and no longer sell their oil resources in dollars no more, but invest in gold and silver as well, and start dealing with the Russians and the Chinese. Okay, so it says again, Jeremiah 51:44, and I will punish Bel in Babylon, and I will bring forth out of his mouth that which he hath swallowed up. Okay, all these riches and these imports. And it says, and the nations shall not flow together any more unto him. Okay, no longer dealing with the U.S. dollar. All right, and it says, yea, the wall of Babylon shall fall. Yeah, a wall represents protection. And what has been one of the main things that has protected Babylon the Great America over these years? Lies. Okay, lies, deception, pseudoscience. Okay, pseudo technology. All right, all these things that have been strongholds in Babylon and has protected Babylon, for America to be able to forward itself throughout the world. Okay, over the past few decades, man, hey, the Lord's tearing it all down. Okay, and making it fall. All right, and the demise of the U.S. dollar is going to play a major part in the fall of this place. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, and through the demise or the death of the U.S. dollar, right, is going to lead to that black horse that's spoken of in Revelation 6. Okay, this is Revelation chapter 6, verse 5. I'm going to start at 5. It says, and when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. Okay, black represents a time of a time of trouble, a time of anguish, tribulation, right? And it says, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. Okay, and when you go into that balances, it basically represents captivity, and as well it's also symbolic of judgment. Okay, captivity and judgment, which is awesome. All in all, symbolic of what? Hard times, troublesome times, tribulation. Okay, and then in verse 6, Revelation 6, verse 6, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Right, and when you read this in the NLT, Revelation 6, verse 6 in the NLT, and I heard a voice from among the four living beings saying, a loaf of wheat bread, or 3 loaves of barley will cost a day's pay. All right, going into what? Hyperinflation, because when this dollar collapses and when it dies, due to these nations, dumping the dollar and whatnot, is going to lead to hyperinflation, where you're gonna go to the store in one day, and a loaf of bread is gonna cost one day's worth of pay. So just think about it. At your job, whatever you do for a living, right? However much money you make in one single day at your job, one single shift at your job, that's how much one single loaf of bread is gonna cost. Okay, and that's and hey, and that's hyperinflation. These are the times it's gonna come when the dollar is officially collapsed. Okay, one full day's worth of pay is only gonna be able to afford you one loaf of bread. Okay, no sandwich meat, no mustard, no ketchup, no mayonnaise, none of that. Just some bread. That's it. All right. And it says, and don't waste the olive oil and the wine. Okay, see thou hurt not the oil and the wine, as it says in the KJV. And what does the oil and the wine represent? The elect. Okay, the elect, because we have the oil, the anointing oil, in the form of this unction. Okay, which is the Holy Spirit, and the understanding of these scriptures. All right, and a wine, we know in the scriptures, wine can also be symbolic of doctrines and philosophies. And we, the hopeful elect, we have the wine of Yahweh Shema Shai, the doctrine and the philosophies and the understanding of the word of Yahweh Shema Shai. Understanding of prophecy, the understanding of the parables and the dark sayings of these scriptures. Okay, all through the Holy Spirit. And it says, verse 7, Revelation 6, verse 7, and he had opened the fourth seal, and I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, come and see. All right. So once the effects of the black horse hits, which is what? Judgment, captivity, lockdowns, concentration camps, and all these things. All right. As well as hyperinflation. Okay. Once the effects of the black horse takes place, right, it's going to lead to what? The pale horse. Revelation 6, verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. All right, death and hell is symbolic of destruction. Okay, death, all right, which is death, and hell is just, in this verse, is just symbolic of destruction. All right, it's not talking about a literal place under the ground called hell, where you burn on fire for all eternity. No. All right, it's just talking about death and destruction. All right, so this pale horse represents death and destruction. Okay, because that's what paleness represents anyway. When you look at certain movies or cartoons or whatnot, okay, especially if you're watching like a scary cartoon or a scary movie, right? Anytime they show the the ghost or the demon within that cartoon or that movie, right? Usually they portray them as having what? A pale face, a white face with dark eyes and sharp teeth and all this other stuff, looking all spooky and goony and whatnot. All right, well, that's what paleness, pale face represents. Death, fear, dread. Okay, and that's what's going to come to this place when the effects of the black horse hit. All right, hyperinflation, judgment, captivity. All right, all through what? The demise of the dollar, right? So it says, Revelation 6, verse 8 again, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell, death and destruction, followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth. What is the fourth part of the earth? The northwestern hemisphere of the earth. And what country sits at the northwestern hemisphere of the earth? America, the United States of America, Babylon the Great. Okay, so this pale horse is going to be sent primarily to the northwestern hemisphere of the earth, Babylon the Great. Okay, to do what? It says, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth. All showcasing what? Societal collapse. See that? So when the effects of the black horse come to pass, hyperinflation, okay, judgment, all these things through what? Through the demise of the dollar. Then it's going to bring forth all kinds of death into this country. Okay, death by way of the sword. People going at each other's throats. Shooting and killing each other. All right, invading men's houses as it goes into in 2nd Ezra 15. Okay, spoiling their goods for bread and tribulation. You know, and people are going to be dying from hunger, famine. Okay, because hey, if a loaf of bread is going to cost a day's pay, then not many people are going to be able to afford. Going to be able to afford it. So a lot of people are just gonna die by way of famine and hunger. And it says, and with death, okay, pestilences, diseases, okay, because in a society of hyperinflation, that also means that people won't be able to afford medical help. They won't be able to buy medicines to heal from sicknesses or diseases and whatnot. So a lot of people are gonna die from diseases and pestilences as well. And then it says, and with the beasts of the earth. Yeah, because the beasts of the earth. So economic collapse is also going to lead to, the different animals across America, killing a lot of people as well. All right, and why is that? Because these zoos that house these animals, they won't in an economic collapse. They won't be able to afford to feed those animals and take care of them anymore. So a lot of those animals are going to be let loose out of those zoos. All right, and even for a lot of people that have pets, right? Even their pets are going to turn on them and kill them because these people that have pets, they need to have money to be able to feed their pets, right, and take care of them, right? Well, guess what? You have let's say you have I don't know, a 75-pound pit bull or a Rottweiler or whatever, and that pit bull or that Rottweiler hasn't eaten in 2-3 days, all right, 3 or 4 days. Well, eventually, what you think that pit bull or that Rottweiler is gonna do to his owner? It's gonna maul him to death, okay, and that's gonna be another form of judgment by the Lord, So ultimately, through the demise of the dollar, via countries like China, selling off treasury bonds and whatnot and dumping the dollar, okay, it's going to lead to all types of collapses in this country. Okay, it's going to lead to people, not being able to afford essential goods. It's going to lead to a lot of people being in a state of perplexity. Yahushua spoke of that in Luke 21 and 25. Okay, the stress of nations, perplexity, all right, which perplexity goes into what? A lack of resources, being at loss with oneself, not knowing which way to turn. And that's going to be the condition of the people when this economy collapses through the death of the dollar, right? And that's going to be basically a playing ground for all types of judgments to take place in this earth. Okay, because it's going to be an all-out chaotic society. All right, so you could pretty much read the rest of this article on your own. Naturalnews.com. Dollar demise. China selling U.S. Treasury bonds in record numbers in favor of gold and other commodities. Okay, and through China doing things like this, is ultimately going to lead to the U.S. going to war with China, and a lot of these other nations that are also dumping the dollar through World War III. And we know, according to prophecy, that what's going to be the fate of America, Babylon the Great, in World War III. Okay, being burned down with fire. All right, being utterly destroyed. Okay, so we pretty much ended off on that. So Lord willing, this video is edifying. I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone and Rule Well, as well as Teach Well. and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth.